Have you ever stood in the kitchen aisle of a store and just felt completely overwhelmed by all the stuff? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We are building the essential starter kit for your kitchen with only the things you'll actually, truly use.
You know that exact feeling, right? You get this spark of inspiration, you want to cook something amazing, but then you look around and it's just this wall of gadgets and tools. It can honestly be a little paralyzing. And trust me, you are not the only one who feels that way.
So let's put an end to that confusion. Together, right now, we are going to build your essential starter kit from the ground up. We're talking no clutter, no junk drawer gadgets, just the core tools that are going to give you a ton of confidence every time you step into the kitchen.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to lay the foundation, your workspace. Then we dive into the most critical tools you'll own, your knives. After that, we'll cover all the measuring and mixing gear, and then get to the fun part, the pots and pans where the magic happens. We'll even cover some pro tips to make sure your stuff lasts, and then wrap it all up with your final checklist. Let's get into it. All right, section 1, setting up your workspace. And look, I know this might sound way too basic, but getting this part right, it's the secret to making cooking feel organized and fun instead of just chaotic.
So before we even think about gadgets, here's what you really need: a clean, clear work surface and a sink. But here's the pro tip: get a simple dishpan and fill it with hot, soapy water. As you use utensils, just toss them in there. It is an absolute game changer for cleanup. That, plus a good stack of clean dish towels, and you've got a command center that's ready for anything.
Okay, now we're getting to what is, without a doubt, the most important section of your whole kitchen kit. Because great cooking always starts with great prep, and great prep starts with your cutting tools. You can forget about those massive, clunky knife blocks that take up half your counter. Honestly, you really only need 3 knives. That's it. This trio right here can handle, I'd say, 99% of any cutting task you'll ever come across.
And the king of that trio is the chef's knife. This is your #1 most important tool in the entire kitchen, period. It's your workhorse. It slices, it dices. You can even use the flat side to crush garlic. If you're going to invest your money in one quality item, make it this one.
Now, let's bust a huge myth right here. A lot of us think the big knives look scary, so they must be more dangerous. But you know what? The truth is the complete opposite. A larger chef's knife is actually safer. That extra height gives your knuckles plenty of room away from the cutting board, and the weight of the blade does most of the work for you, which means you have way more control.
All right, next up are the little guys, the specialists. You've got your paring knife for all those small, detailed jobs. Think taking the core out of an apple. And then the humble peeler. It is so much safer and creates so much less waste than trying to peel something like a carrot or a potato with a knife.
And to round out your cutting kit, you'll need that serrated knife for bread, a simple box grater, and a can opener. But this next one, listen up, because this is non-negotiable. You need at least 2 cutting boards. One is strictly for raw meat, poultry, and fish, period. The other one is for everything else, like your fruits and veggies. That's a huge food safety role. Okay, prep tools are handled. Let's talk about getting things right. You know, whether you're baking a cake or just trying to nail a sauce recipe, having the right measuring and mixing gear is what gives you consistent results every single time.
So here's your little prep arsenal. You'll want a set of measuring spoons, and then 2 types of measuring cups. You know, the stacking ones for dry ingredients like flour, and one with a spout for liquids. Then grab a couple of mixing bowls in different sizes, a good heat-resistant spatula, a whisk, and a timer. You're all set.
All right, everything's been prepped, measured, and mixed. It's time to bring the heat. Let's talk about the pots and pans, where all the magic really happens. And please, I'm begging you, step away from that giant 12-piece cookware set. You really only need a few key pieces. A couple of pots with lids in different sizes are perfect for soups or boiling pasta. Then you need one good, heavy, thick-bottomed pan for getting an amazing sear on things. And finally, one nonstick pan, specifically for delicate foods like eggs or fish that have a tendency to stick. So for that thick-bottomed pan, what materials should you choose? Well, stainless steel is your all-around, easy-to-care-for workhorse. Cast iron, though, it's a specialist. It takes a while to get hot, but once it is, it holds that heat like nothing else. And that's what gives you that beautiful, perfect sear on a piece of meat. So now you've got some great gear, but buying it is only half the battle. You've got to know how to take care of it so it lasts. So let's get into some pro-level maintenance tips. Let's clear something up about the honing steel. This is a huge one. A steel does not sharpen your knife.
Sharpening actually grinds away metal to create a new edge. A honing steel simply realigns the very fine edge of the blade, which gets knocked around a little bit with normal use. Doing this for a few seconds before you start cutting makes a world of difference.
And it looks way more complicated than it is, I promise. Just hold the steel vertically, place your knife against it at a pretty shallow angle, say about 15 or 20 degrees. Then just gently glide the blade down and across from the heel of the knife to the tip. Do that about 5 to 8 times on each side, and that's it. You're done. And I really cannot say this enough. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. Think about it. With a dull knife, you have to push down with a lot of force to make it cut. And that pressure is exactly what causes it to slip and potentially hurt you. A sharp knife just glides through food. A sharp knife is a safe knife. So to keep that investment sharp and safe, just remember these absolute don'ts. Never, ever put a good knife in the dishwasher. The heat and detergents are terrible for it. Never cut on super hard surfaces like glass or granite. Don't just toss it loose in a drawer where it can get dinged up. And please, don't use your chef's knife as a cleaver for bones or frozen stuff. Phew, okay, we have covered a whole lot of ground. So let's bring it all home and put it together in one simple ultimate checklist. And there it is, your complete starter kit. With just these essential items, a great knife, the right cutting boards, some bowls, measuring tools, one fantastic pan, and a couple of pots, you are seriously equipped to make thousands of different recipes. It really is that straightforward. So there you have it. You've got the knowledge, you've got the list, you are officially ready to start cooking with real confidence. So I guess the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to make first?